This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
This hour is sponsored by Better. Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better. Visit better.app now. Sign up today. Get free money and no deposit necessary. BETR, better.app now.
Big hour coming up here. In 15 minutes, the Thursday night betting board, NFL and the NBA. There's a game that I really like tonight in the association. Bottom of the hour, David Baker, professional poker player who has also won the Supercontest before on the show. A lot to get into with him. At that time right now, we go out to the Progressive guest line as the meat man Steve Wyss joins the program now. He is with Because We Win in the Nordic Football Podcast as well. Meat man, good to talk to you as always. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, guys. Fired up this weekend. It was a disappointing last weekend for me. I'm either feast or famine at the minute. No. So hopefully this weekend we're feasting.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the Prim's back, so that's good. You want to attack a game early on Saturday. Bournemouth takes on West Ham. What's your play here?
Under goals. I'm going under 2.75 on the goal line. For me, with Bournemouth, there is a rule with betting overs and unders. Away from home, you want to be looking at the overs, but at home, they've been an under machine, really. They had the most under 2.5 goal games at home last season in the Premier League, and already this season, they've had the second fewest overs at home this season. So Bournemouth at home, for some reason, their games don't contain many goals. It could be to do with the tight, congested pitch that they have. When they're against West Ham, who they've had overs recently, but I don't think it's the way that their manager naturally wants to play. I'm absolutely convinced that Nuno Espirito Santo will get this West Ham team playing much better defensive football, and they've had a 2-week break to try and get them on the training field, better disciplined and better prepped. So I think the West Ham game plan is going to be to come here, be negative, try and get a 0-0 draw or a low-scoring draw, or even nick a 1-0 win. And I think the goal line's too high. So under 2.75 goals, minus 110.
Very good. Let's stay Saturday. You expect a fiery, feisty affair. We're talking red cards and Brighton, Brentford. Take it away.
Well, the storyline here is it's a battle of the owners. The two owners absolutely hate each other. They haven't spoken to each other for over 20 years.
Wow.
They used to work with each other, and they kind of are in charge of the two biggest betting syndicates in the UK. Tony Bloom at Brighton is famous for this with his Star Lizard Syndicate. Mm-hmm. But anyway, these owners, they want to beat each other, and they'll let the players know about it. And the last time these two sides met, it didn't escape my attention. There was 7 yellow cards and 1 red card. And no one really thinks about Brighton-Brentford as a rivalry, but it really is. The players are probably on extra bonuses for winning this game. So I've got to go over 4.5 cards at plus 105 here. Also, by the way, Brighton have picked up the most yellow cards of any team in the Premier League this year. So it kind of ties in with their style of play, which is giving a lot of fouls away. Brentford rank in the top 7 for cards as well. Neither side have had a red card yet this season. So I think they're due for one. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in this sort of fixture. So red card, yes, is worth a sprinkle at plus 370. The referee, John Brooks, has had a recent history of giving red cards and yellow cards. So I think all things considered, I don't know who's going to win the game. I'd go Brighton if I had to, but we're going to get some cards and a feisty game.
Great job.
I can imagine that the overall story of why these two guys hate each other is unbelievable.
Oh, search this out on Google or something, guys. There's some brilliant stories. They used to be best buddies and work with each other, but Matt Benham, the owner of Brentford, kind of did the dirty on Bloom, and Bloom is big on loyalty. So, yeah, they haven't spoken for over 20 years since.
Oh, man. A great angle. Great angle.
Oh, I love it.
Yep. Meat Man's our guest. He's right. Feast or famine going back. 5-1 2 weeks ago. 0-5 last week. He is due. He'll have a big Saturday at Meat Man Soccer on X. He's on the Progressive guest line. Saturday as well. This dreadful Wolves club taking on Crystal Palace. Over?
They've been really profitable for us on this show, haven't they, this year, Wolves, for whatever reason. So hopefully it can continue again. I'm going over 2.5 goals. This is actually a system play. Once again, and I mention this all the time, there's a new manager here at Wolves. His name's Rob Edwards. And I know how this guy plays, and it's front foot soccer. He wants to come into a club and sort out the offense. He would rather win a shootout than try and win a match 1-0 or grind out a 0-0 draw. He was the manager, of course, who took famously Luton Town up to the Premier League against all odds. And in that season in the Premier League, 27 of the 38 games went over 2.5 goals. So at this level, Rob Edwards, the manager, has a history of just going for it. They had a horrible defence, that Luton team did, and he's actually inherited another terrible defence. So I don't think he can really solve it very quickly. I'm going to be back in Wolves matches over 2.5 goals blind, probably for the first 5 under Rob Edwards, and see how it goes. We can get plus money on that one.
All right, excellent. Someone woke the cat up, I think. How about Sunday? Leeds, Aston Villa.
Oh, this one kind of hurts me a bit, really. I've got to go against my own side, Leeds. I think we've got trouble at the office, really. A really difficult set of fixtures coming up. And I think Aston Villa come here and win. I'm going to be a bit more cautious. Take the draw no bet handicap -149, because at very worst, Villa should be getting the draw. But Leeds are under pressure. The fans don't want the manager, Daniel Farke. I think he will get sacked at some point in the next few weeks, and Leeds might be needing a new manager. Just the atmosphere is not very good, and Villa just have way more quality. I've mentioned before about the newly promoted teams coming up to the Premier League. Eventually, they kind of lose rhythm and lose focus. Leeds have had some decent home results, but I think Villa get this one. Draw no bet -149.
Okay. League One, Tom Brady's club. Birmingham City against Norwich. You had a good angle a couple weeks ago on Norwich. What do you want to do with the total?
Yeah, another team with a new manager. Philippe Clement has come in, Belgian manager, sorry, and I'm going over 2.5 goals at -110. This is another manager. The first thing he does when he comes into a new club is he sorts the offense out, not the defense, and he's got a track record of it. 5 of his first 6 matches at Rangers, over 2.5 goals. 3 of his first 4 at Monaco, over 2.5 goals. His first 2 at Club Brugge, over 2.5 goals, and 9 of his first 10 at a Belgian club called Varsland, over 2.5 goals as well. So we know what he's going to do when he comes straight in. He's going to get his team scoring goals. And Birmingham City, by the way, they could cover this goal line all on their own. They've won their last 2 matches at home 4-0. So they are firing. They're one of the favourites for promotion this season. The last 4 home fixtures for Birmingham have all gone over 2.5 goals. So I see this as a shootout. Don't underestimate Norwich here. There'll be a lot of people betting on Birmingham blind. But the new manager effect with Philippe Clement, I do rate him as an offensive manager. We could see a glutton of goals. So over 2.5 looks very generous, -110.
Okay. That was Championship League, by the way. My fault on Birmingham City. How about Bolton and Bradford?
I think there'll be quite a lot of goals in this game as well, actually. But I'm going with Bolton money line, -133. There's a case, and this kind of changes week by week, who the best team in League One is. It's a really open field this year. But Bolton definitely have the best underlying metrics. They have the best expected goals, 1.84 per game. The next best is 1.68, which is significant. They are the only team who have an expected goals against per game of less than 1 goal. So they're the best offense and the best defense, and their results are just starting to show of late. Bolton, they've really found some form. They face a Bradford team who got out of the traps really hot this season, but they have not won any of their last 5. They've drawn quite a lot of those games, Bradford City, but they've not won for a while. And I think, again, newly promoted team, eventually that bubble can burst. And this looks a good time to oppose Bradford. They're not a bad side, but I think Bolton are just too good at the moment. The way I watch Bolton play, they look like they might go up, actually. Whether they can keep up their form throughout the whole season, I'm not sure. But 4 wins in their last 5 would suggest they're getting over the hump. They're in 4th place. And someone's going to take this division by the scruff of the neck. At times, I think it's going to be Luton. Sometimes I think it's going to be Cardiff. At the minute, I think Bolton might be in pole position now. I certainly think they beat Bradford at -133. You could look at over 2.5 goals, the same odds as well.
All right, me, man. Dynamite as always. Love the analysis. Best of luck this weekend, turning it around from last week and going back up on the roller coaster and descending here with the bets. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Let's hope we can catch a few tickets. Take care.
No doubt. Follow him on X at MeatmanSoccer. He is with a couple of podcasts, Because We Win, and the Nordic Football Pod as well.
That's something out of a Ted Lasso episode. 2 guys won't talk to each other over 20 years.
No doubt.
Best friends, and Wolverhampton, just dreadful. 2 points. Bottom of the table in the Prem. And then you have the debacle going on with Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship League, -4. They were in administration, total fade brigade against that club. And a lot of good stuff going on in League One and League Two as well.
Some football notes here, NFL notes anyway. Lamar Jackson was a full participant today at practice after missing yesterday because of the ankle. So the Ravens said that he did go out there and do the entire practice today. The Bills moments ago placed Mecole Hardman on injured reserve. So then that elevated Gabe Davis to their active roster for the game tonight, thinking that, again, 40 yards last week is maybe something that you want to get involved with.
What happened to this guy? Jacksonville gave him all that money. He had the great performance in the playoff loss.
Yeah.
And then he just disappeared.
Fell off the earth quickly.
Well, now he's back. But certainly that's a vet that Allen can trust.
Yeah. I just think the angle here is that I totally agree with Charch that Allen's going to be in for a long night passing the football.
Yeah.
The defense from Houston's too good.
Davis as low as 21.5. We got a tweet on that, too.
Okay.
So very interesting about who he's going to throw to tonight. Shavers caught the long touchdown. Shakir did nothing last week. Knox had one catch. Well, so I think a little. I like Gabe Davis over. I think he'll go over, at least get 25.
Yeah. That's why it pays off. Two things here, right? One, it can either pay off when you take a shot like that with Shavers to score a touchdown, or you can do all the homework all week long and point out like it's going to be a great week for Khalil Shakir, for example, and then a guy that you rarely have seen play for the Bills goes out there, or has made an impact, I should say, and he's the guy who cashes those tickets like that.
I would think a lot of dump-offs to the running backs, too.
That's what I think, yeah. All right, we'll get into that game a little bit more. I like an NBA game tonight, and there is one guy currently on an 8-0 run. We'll tell you the player next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good conversation coming up in 15 minutes. Professional poker player, former Supercontest champion David Baker on the program. We'll ask him if this is going to be a thing in the Circa Grandissimo Survivor Contest, $100,000 buy-in with poker players involved, if they're just going to say, we're not going to chop ever. Is that going to be a thing to deal with? Tonight, the Bills are at the Texans. Buffalo, a 5.5-point favorite here at Circa and at most books. Total 44.5. Now, Pauly, we both like the under in this game. Josh Allen has been awesome on Thursday Night Football. 8-0 straight up. Average margin of victory there in those 8 games, 14 points per game. In general, on prime time, so you go Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Buffalo 19-9 straight up, 15-13 ATS. Last 28. He's also been really good on the road, 37-22 under since 2018. And to add to that, DeMeco Ryans against teams like good teams, winning records overall, 17-6 to the under. And this has gone up. It's 43.5. I like under 44.5 in the game.
Got it. Absolutely. There's a lot to like here with props as well. The Guru's got a good article up on vsin.com. He's on a ton of guys tonight. Has this been very good in primetime games, especially Thursday night with both quarterback rushing yards over and longest rush as well. And it's going to be interesting to see. I don't want to say eats because this Houston defense is nasty, but who can get some yardage and do some damage with Buffalo? I don't think it's going to happen. And Shakir's compromised and had one catch last week. Davis may be in the mid-20s. But if what they did last week, dumping it off to Cook and Ty Johnson, they had monster games. And Cook is 15 yards, $1.20. Yeah. What he did.
I like the angle there on both those guys.
That
he's going to be throwing the ball a little bit underneath. And you said earlier today, there was a great breakdown that you read on ESPN.com that they want to take. They just want to milk the clock the entire time here. Make it a short game. They don't want to have their defense out there getting gassed again.
You got injuries on the defense, right?
Yep.
So chew clock, shorten the game, keep away, long drives, and that's how you attack it. With number one, Allen rushing, and he was as low as 31.5. Allen rushing yards over, the dump off to Cook, the dump off to Johnson, play, keep away, ball control, and also under, which again, the people bet what they want to see. I can't believe this goes up. And you're right, Wade. Who knows? Maybe you get a 45 when we get the kickoff.
Did you say that Guru is on a Higgins bet tonight?
He likes Higgins under receiving yards.
All right.
The targets have been there, though, for him 3 of the last 4 games.
He has had, in fact, I have it right here. How about this? The last 2 games, Pauly, specifically here with Davis Mills, 14 combined targets, 9 catches. He had 42 yards and a touchdown in one game. He had 55 yards in the other game. And when you go to vsin.com/NFL props, you can get all the Opta AI numbers there. They basically have him, well, they actually have him under 29.5. They're projecting 25 yards in the game. So Guru agrees with the projections. They have Woody Marks getting about 17 yards. That would go over. I kind of like that angle as well, where Woody Marks can be a factor in the passing game. And Christian Kirk.
He's an interesting one.
Yeah, they have him going like over by 20 yards here in the game tonight.
Yeah. I think Nico has a big game. He had 11 targets in the win against Jacksonville. He had a big game against Jacksonville. Schultz had 11 targets against Jacksonville, who I also like, and he had 9 targets last week. So the last 3 games now, remember, that's that first game against Denver, that's when Stroud got concussed and Mills came in. So he's been feeding him 3 in a row.
Right.
8, 11, and 9 targets. The last 3 for Schultz. And he's had 77, 53, and 51 yards. How about a little Kramer here? He got his tweet out.
Kramer!
First touchdown of the game. Breaking my heart. Bills, defensive touchdown, 40-1. Texans, touchdown, defense, 40-1. Shakir, 12-1. Kirk, 40-1.
Why, did you bet the no defensive special that you did?
Yeah.
With Davis Mills involved?
Yeah. I trust him, yeah. But I don't look at that anyways, unless you got 2 horrible quarterbacks or turnover-prone guys. I don't look at that anymore.
How would you describe Davis Mills at this point of his career?
Serviceable. I know the record's not strong.
Yeah,
but
I don't hate him. I think the guy can play a little bit.
Yeah.
So as a backup / like emergency guy, I'm okay with it. And Opta AI stats have him going way over his passing yards, by the way, which is like 212.5. They're projecting like 233 here.
No, this is the loss that might come back to bite them is the Denver game, which they 100% win that game if Stroud doesn't get concussed.
Yeah.
But they blew the game so many times and couldn't put him away.
I'll give you another one,
But that
too.
was a tough one where Mills, the Jacksonville game?
No question.
Oh, yeah. Nico fumbled when they were driving.
Oh, yeah. Inside
Fairbairn missed a kick. And
right around the 10-yard line. Tie game would have, in theory, gone up 17-10. Jacksonville right down the field for a touchdown. Absolute killer. Those losses in September are just as meaningful as, mid-December.
Yep. But they're a lot like the Cowboys. If they can get this one tonight, and if Dallas can steal one against Philly, then this gets interesting.
I would agree with that.
Because the back end of the schedule, there's a lot of winnable games. You steal 1 or 2 here, and you never know.
Well,
if 9 could get it done or 10 could get it done.
Let's be honest here. The defense is so good, it can keep them in pretty much all their games. Then it's going to come down to, is the offense going to be able to produce, enough points overall? And that's kind of, the total unknown.
Mm-hmm.
They did whatever they wanted to lose that game. They tried to lose the game to the Titans last week over and over and over again.
Yep.
And they just couldn't put them away. NBA tonight. It's a 4-game card. There's not a lot to love, in my opinion, with the 3-point props. I have yet to bet AJ Green over for the Bucks. It's been something that we've been on since the first game of the entire year. I would say this: if you've been tailing that and you want to bet him tonight, I don't blame you because he's cashed so many times. But it's now like minus 110, 112 in that area to go over 2.5. And with no Giannis, I'm a little concerned. I might play it, but if I do, it's going to be a much smaller bet than it was throughout the entire year so far. Couple things. Again, no Giannis, and it's no longer plus money. But the game that I like tonight, I think the wrong team is favored here. Atlanta's playing at San Antonio. The Spurs have been sitting there all day as a 1.5 point favorite. They are without Victor Wembanyama, Castle, Harper, all out. Yes, they beat Sacramento and Memphis. Those are 2 bad teams. And they needed a big run in the final 2.5 minutes the other night to actually cover against Memphis. I had them in the game, San Antonio that is, and they had no business covering. So the way I look at it is this. It's going to be a heavy De'Aaron Fox game because they're relying on him big time. last couple of games without these players. And the Hawks have the personnel that can attack him, wear him down, and make him have an off night. Alexander Walker, Dyson Daniels for sure. Atlanta is 4th in defensive rating since Trae Young got injured. Also on the road this year, 7-2 straight up, 6-3 ATS. I'm on the Hawks tonight. I bet him +1. I got him on the money line. That was around pick 'em when I bet it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go off as the favorite here.
All right, sold. OptAI loves Zach LaVine over tonight for the Kings. They're in a back-to-back taking on Memphis. His points prop 19.5, and Maxey is 29.5 points taking on the Bucks. Philly favorite on the road, and I could see fireworks in that Memphis game. 234 the total, and pretty much the same total with Atlanta and San Antonio. Harden is 27.5 against the Magic. Magic 5.5 at home against the Clippers.
Damn, it's a big number.
Yeah, he's been playing well though.
No, I know. Well, let me ask you this on Tyrese Maxey. He had 5 threes last night. The Raptors are really good, by the way.
Another good win.
As they took out the 76ers last night.
Yeah,
so back-to-back here for Philly. But Maxey again tonight, 3.5 threes over his plus money. He has been killing it the entire... He takes a ton of threes, and he hits a lot of them on top of it. So it's a back-to-back. Again, I don't really love the card tonight, but...
I don't think that affects him.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, if I were going to be there.
I might add a little bit of that as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The OptAI stats at vsin.com, they got AJ Green going over his points prop, which 9.5, they have him going for about 14 in this game tonight. Levine was killing it to begin the year.
Mm-hmm.
OptAI loved him every single game, and he was delivering big time.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see what books put up Bam tomorrow. They play the Bulls. The total's 248.5.
That was I actually ended up betting that before the game. I had to. We brought that up at the end of the show. It was too big of a number. Now, he didn't take a ton, but they were there. Right. They were going in, so that was a nice result.
Yep. Think you know sports, time to get paid for it. Better Picks, a daily fantasy app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download the Better app. Pick more or less on your favorite player's stats, and if your pick hits, you win. No users get free money just for signing up and no deposit required. When you do deposit, you get a 50% deposit match up to $200. Action year-round. NBA, soccer, UFC, golf, and more. Better.app or download Better in the app or Google Play Store. Promo code VEASAN for your free money deposit bonus today. Better.app, BETR.
Yeah, well, the OptAI stats have AJ Green making 3.5 threes tonight. There you go. Probably going to bet him. Up next, professional poker player and former Supercontest winner David Baker is going to join the program. There will not be a chop in Circa Grandissimo, $100,000 buy-in here at Circa. The Survivor Contest, will this be a common theme with poker players involved moving forward? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Big fan of our next guests. We're going to go heavy National Football League here as professional poker player, former Westgate Super Contest winner, and co-host of the podcast called Gamble Up. David Baker joins the program now on the Progressive Guest Line. David, good afternoon. Good to talk to you as always. How are you?
Yeah, love being on your show and love talking football with you. And yeah, it's great. We get multiple times a week now that you've been coming on our Saturday night Survivor Sweat Circa Survivor Reveal show. So yeah, it's fun as always to talk to you guys.
Yep, same here. Fun conversation on Saturdays as well after the picks are in. We want to start here and you're not going to talk on behalf of every poker player, obviously, but I think maybe one of the concerns going into Circa Grandissimo this year, the $100,000 buy-in was, well, a lot of people are going to have big bankrolls. Maybe they don't want to chop. Maybe poker players are going to be involved. They don't want to chop, whatever. And now we're hearing that from people who are still left, one of the 6 entries remaining. And they're like, yeah, no, nobody, they don't want to chop. Think it's going to be too difficult, not going to happen. Is that going to be a thing, in your opinion, moving forward?
Well, I definitely think that, as a poker player and the poker mindset is we kind of think of things in ideas of multiples and not necessarily in actual dollar amounts. So like when you join the Grandissimo, you're trying to 69 times your money because there are 69 entries. You're not really looking to 10x your money. So yeah, I can understand not really wanting to chop at this point. I mean, it sounds like a lot because you're going 100 to 1 million, but when you're talking in multiples, like these people are playing, 10K, 100K tournaments and having 6-figure swings on single pots of poker. And a lot of them are big time football gamblers as well. And they're getting down 5-6 figures in action on each game. So it's really not that big of a deal for them to have that kind of swing. It's just a 10x multiplier. So I fully understand it. And also, from a game theory standpoint, they've been in end game situations before, knowing when to be conservative and knowing when not to. Maybe trying to take advantage of somebody feeling like they're desperate and want to try to win it right here, and maybe they take the less EV play and maybe they can move up the ladder that way, or vice versa. Maybe they see a chance to pounce and can go the opposite way. So yeah, I think poker players definitely are in the no chop camp, and I can't say that I blame them. And honestly, if they do want to chop with you, that probably means that they have a worse entry than you. So you probably should even look out if they do want to chop, because that they're probably saying, hey, I think you have an edge going forward.
Well, this is a great discussion because it's not a poker tournament. It's either potentially 6.9 million or bupkis. So with the poker tournament, you go top, you winner, second place money, third place money, fourth place money. We've seen several chops going back in the World Series, some of events. Are you saying more of these guys that chop in poker tournaments are amateurs as opposed to the pros?
Well, I think whenever a pro wants to chop, it's usually because they feel that their edge is either equal or less. You don't normally see somebody who thinks they have a giant edge want to chop necessarily, or if they do, they're looking to get the better end of the deal. I'm not saying that chopping is bad. I think it's more just the utility value of the money. I mean, what $1 million might do for you or I is not necessarily what $1 million might do for a couple of the players that I know are still in the Grandissimo. They have $1 million swings on the routine. And, really, when you enter this contest, and sometimes when you enter poker tournaments, like I look at things as, is it a landscape changing opportunity for me? And you only get landscape changing opportunities. And when I say that, I mean your life, the landscape of your life changes. You only get landscape changing opportunities certain number of times in your life as a big time poker player or as a big time gambler. And if you are always taking the safe way out with that, then you're never going to have that landscape changing opportunity. And some of these guys might look and it's like, hey, I think I've got like a 20% opportunity to change my landscape. And, the difference between me 10xing my money and 69 times my money is, the difference between a lot of freedom for me or a lot more opportunities that I'll have in the future, or maybe bigger poker tournaments I'll be able to play, or maybe being able to get in some of the biggest games, or, there's just a lot of things that like this money can do for people in the gambling world. I mean, it's not necessarily just like, oh, I can handle my retirement. It's okay. Now I can play in a bigger game where now I can even multiply that money further. I can play in these 100K Triton poker tournaments across in Asia where like my edge is big, but maybe I didn't have the bankroll to take a big piece of myself over there. There's just a lot of things that maybe this money multiplies itself out. And as gamblers, we're kind of programmed to take risk. And, I don't blame them for that. I can't say whether I would or wouldn't chop in the situation. I'm not in the financial situation that some of these guys that I know are in. And, I sold a lot of pieces. So I would, talk to my partners, but some of them may have partners, they may not.
Right. And phenomenal answer, by the way. So there's also that part of it too. I'm guessing that each entry, maybe not all of them, but most of them probably have multiple people. And I've heard that maybe at least one or more entries have like up to 8, maybe 9, 10 guys involved. So that's going to become almost impossible to get down and chop with everybody else.
Yeah, I think when you do take on partners, you generally assign somebody to make that decision and you just live and die with those decisions. I mean, I had 20 people that took a piece of me. I just wanted to have a lot of people, if we got to the end, that we would have a sweat together and we could all come together and root together. So I sold small pieces to everybody, but everybody knew that when the decisions were on the line, it was my decision. And if we were going to chop, you were just going to live by my decision. And if we weren't going to chop, you were going to also live by my decision. And so I would guess that there is somebody in charge of each of those accounts. And I know 3 of them for sure. I do know who 3 of them are. I'm not going to name them. We've talked to a couple of them on the Saturday night show, but I know they're big time. They're big time players, and they have 6-figure swings routinely, daily, by the game, by the poker game, by the football game. So, if they lose, it's really no skin off their back. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I'm not anticipating that they will. But look, when it gets down to 3 people, and if we both have the same path and there's 3 games left, there's no reason not to, because you're basically, I'm taking a 6.5 point favor, you're taking a 6.5 point favor, we're flipping coins. I wouldn't be surprised. They're also not stupid. But I think they feel like they might have a GTO edge here, because maybe you're going to play it too safe because you need the money, or maybe you're going to play it too aggressively because you're just like, this is my opportunity to win and I'm just going to try to take it. So I think they feel like they're more in control of their emotions and can separate the money from the decision.
Yeah, so good. David Baker, our guest, professional poker player. Great insight there. I also think that the regular Circa Survivor this week, now it's down below 1,000 people, almost chaos last week. Did not get it really, other than maybe a couple of teams going down with small ownerships to their names. This week is very pivotal to the whole thing, right? Because what we have coming up with Baltimore, the Cincinnati news, by the way, with Joe Burrow and Philadelphia, and making that decision now this week compared to next week is going to be, I think, monumental to the entire contest.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we've known that this week, this 12, 13, 15 week is kind of where you have to, it's kind of like the line of demarcation. You're basically choosing weeks 12, 13A, which is Thanksgiving, and 15, kind of in this little range here, because we're looking at the same groupings of teams. We're looking at Baltimore, Philly, and San Francisco for these weeks. And Philly and San Francisco have mass ownership available. So we know that they're going to be deployed a lot in these couple of weeks. You basically just have to decide, do I feel comfortable enough with Baltimore on Thanksgiving and another team this week to go ahead and forego that? Because we all know Baltimore is the chalk spot this week. It's the best spot. There's no team I'd rather play than the Jets. So if you have Baltimore playing the Jets at home, this is what you want. So basically your choice is here. If you're foregoing the Ravens, it's because I want to leverage Thanksgiving, because I know that 50% of the field or 45% of the field is going to be on the Eagles, and I want to leverage that game. And if you can hold Baltimore and play them next week, you're going to be able to be on like probably half the ownership of the Eagles. And if you don't play the Eagles that week, you can also use them week 15, where a lot of people are going to have had to use them on Thanksgiving and won't have them available week 15. So it's kind of like you have to decide your Baltimore, San Francisco, Philly path, really, this week, in the next couple days.
I totally agree. So we're going to continue here. More Survivor with David Baker coming up next, but also he did buy low on Baltimore many weeks ago. How does he feel about those future tickets? At this point, we'll ask him coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue talking NFL contests out here as well. David Baker on the progressive guest line, professional poker player, former winner of the Westgate Supercontest, also co-host of the Gamble Up podcast. So I'm not going to ask you to give away any of your upcoming secrets here, but Joe Burrow did take 100% of the snaps today for Cincinnati. What do you say about T. Higgins, Pauly, in the break?
Said he looked outstanding. And also it's important to note that Burrow took 100% of the reps and Flacco practiced too.
Okay.
After taking yesterday off. So
does that throw you off using Baltimore on Thanksgiving night? Again, you have to say everything that you're going to probably plan on doing here, but what is the whole process here going on with this news of Joe Burrow?
Well, it's definitely going to change my projections for this week and for Thanksgiving. I mean, I definitely think that there's going to be a large swell of people who are going to have been sitting here thinking I'm going to say Baltimore for that week, that are just going to get antsy and going to get cold feet and tick Baltimore up this week and just go ahead and just be done with that. They don't have to mess with, the Vegas or Chicago or Green Bay or some of these other like fringe teams that you're not really sure about. You can just go ahead and move on to next week because they have Philly in their pocket. But on some side of it, it actually makes Baltimore more attractive because I know that they're going to be lower owned. I know there's going to be a higher concentration on Philly. And, let's be honest here. The Cincinnati quarterback play has not been what has held back the Cincinnati Bengals team from being good. It's the defense. It's the offensive line. I don't think that Joe Burrow is going to be making any tackles. I don't think he's going to be defending Lamar Jackson. And I also don't think he's going to be blocking. So, I'm not really sure that, it's scary. I mean, we do know that Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson have played a lot of shootouts and close games over the last couple of years. So I'm not going to say it's the most warm and fuzzy feeling, but would I rather be warm and fuzzy at 38% or would I rather be a little bit uncomfortable at 22%? It's kind of like a give and take. So, I still haven't decided. We haven't talked. My partner and I, we generally try to just get our own thoughts together and we discuss on Friday, unless there's obviously a Thursday night game, and we don't have Buffalo available. So it's not even a possibility for us today. But we have to make the decision. The problem is if I only have two entries left and one of them doesn't have Baltimore available. So if I use Baltimore on this one, then I'm basically tied into either Kansas City or Philly. And I don't know if I really want to chalk Philly, and I don't really trust Kansas City on the road. I mean, I think they're probably only going to be a 3-point favorite at Dallas. So,
right.
I don't really feel comfortable there either.
Okay. So you were on about a month ago and you were buying up all these Ravens futures when they were 1-5. And you pointed to the schedule and getting healthy. And then you at the point, I think you said at the time, hey, I like my chances if I take on Kansas City or Buffalo and it's the AFC title game. Well, how about if it's New England now or the Colts? So you also had a great tweet that get ready for the 4-5 first-round matchup. Ravens-Bills, the winner becomes the AFC favorite. The loser goes to Cancun early. So take us through what you're thinking now with your Ravens futures.
Well, look, when you bet long odds, you're not betting them because you think they're going to win. I love when, you post that, I took 25-1 on the Ravens and they're like, oh, they're not going to win. It's like, most likely not, but I'm getting 25-1 on my money. So right now I've already won with that bet. I mean, they're 12-1 now to win the Super Bowl. So I'm already printing in that. I could get off of it and make profit if I wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm not a hedger in general. But I mean, I love it. Do I love the way the Baltimore Ravens look today? No, absolutely not. I was not comfortable with that game against the Browns. I'm not comfortable with how good Lamar Jackson looks today. Right. But what I am comfortable with is that this team's pieces are there. We know in the NFL that it goes in cycles and there's 3, 4, 5 games at a time that teams will go through this swell. And look, they're winning despite not playing great. We know that the offense is basically the same as they had last year. The defense is pretty similar to what they had last year. The coaching staff's exactly the same. So I trust the Ravens to find it over these last few games. They have the Jets coming up. They have the Bengals, which, obviously with Burrow, it's a little tougher. I'm not as worried about the Steelers. And if we can get to that Patriots game with, at the most one more loss, I think they're a strong favorite to get there. And we know they get a home game. If you win the division, they're a home game. And I'll take them versus any team in Baltimore, one game to move on to the next round.
Don't disagree. And also another thing that you have going for yourself here is that it appears as if the NFC is way better than the AFC collectively here this season. Like, I don't know who's good overall in the AFC. Like, which team can you absolutely bank on making deep? Like, they all have weaknesses big time. Meanwhile, on the other side, the NFC, it appears as if there are 3-4 teams that are really, really good almost across the board, David.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the AFC is right now, your teams that we've counted on in the past, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, they don't look invincible. And then you have the up-and-coming teams, the Colts, the Broncos, the Patriots. You know, they look really good, but this is week 12. We're not at week 17. We're not at week 18. There's not more film on Bo Nix and Drake May and Daniel Jones. And do we expect them to continue to make the leap and continue to get better? I don't know. I mean, they haven't been in this. The NFL has generally not been a league where you take that giant step to losing season to win the Super Bowl. You kind of have to pay your dues. And Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have paid their dues to get to this point. And as much as I really like Drake May and Bo Nix and Daniel Jones for that matter, they haven't paid their dues in the playoffs. And playoff football is a little bit different. And do we trust them to win 3 games in the playoffs? I don't know if we trust any of them. Like you said, the NFC is extremely deep up top. I trust Stafford. I trust Hurts. I trust Goff. Baker, Purdy. All these guys are a lot more trustworthy. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that my future is kind of tied to a lot of younger quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yeah. What do you make of Seattle, by the way? I think overall, as a team, the power rating should go up after losing to the Rams, despite Sam Darnold throwing 4 pretty bad interceptions in that game.
Well, I mean, the one thing the one reason I like the Rams that game so much, even though I didn't end up covering, was because we saw Sam Darnold versus this defense in Minnesota. And I think the defensive coordinator, his name escapes me right this second, but I think he just kind of knows how to disguise looks against Darnold. So I love Darnold in every other situation, but until he proves that he can beat this defense, then that's going to be their bugaboo. The thing is, though, they might, obviously they have to face him one more time in Seattle, so we'll get a second look at it. But they might have to face him in the playoffs. So, I mean, I don't know if the Rams can hold on and be at home. That's kind of been a house of horrors for Darnold. And then the Eagles are also, they're the type of team that have the defense that could possess a problem for Sam Darnold. I love Sam Darnold against a lot of teams, but against a team like the Eagles or the Rams defense, I am a little weary. So, yeah, I mean, verdict is still not in for me on Darnold. I'm not out, but I'm definitely not in.
90 seconds. Do you like anything as far as the point spread this week?
Yeah, there's a couple games that I like. I mean, I've said from the beginning that I really don't believe in this Pittsburgh Steelers team. They win 1 game a month with voodoo and get 5 turnovers. I mean, they did it versus the Patriots. They did it versus the Colts. But every other game, they're just dead men walking. I mean, this defense, I don't know how they continually get rated so high when every offense that I see just runs up and down the field against them. So, yeah, I kind of like the Bears here, and it's kind of be hypocritical for me to be so high on the Broncos and say that winning is an attribute and clutch is a skill and not at least give some sort of credit to the Bears for being able to squeak out their games and being able to win as well. Obviously, if you've listened to anything that I've done or watched anything I've done, you know that I'm not the biggest Chiefs fan. So I'm not really seeing what everybody's buying in this Chiefs team overall. The offense to me looks stale. It's Kareem Hunt. It's short routes to Rashee Rice, and it's just bombing the ball down the field, hoping to get pass interference calls, with Mahomes. So yep. I think that the Colts are very live to win this football game and just finally put an end to this Chiefs regime and give us some new blood in there.
Yeah. David, awesome spot as always. Love talking to you. Best of luck this week.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys on Saturday night.
You got it.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
There you go. Follow David on X. He's at AU David B. AU David B. Podcast is called Gamble Up.
Think sports start getting paid for it. Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app. Your sports knowledge turns into cash. Sign up today, get your free money, no deposit needed. When you do deposit, you get a 50% match up to $200. Download Better in the App or Google Play Store. Better.app, BETR, code VSIN.
Up next, J.R. Sarkis on the program. Here's one promise I will make. This guy will make your Thanksgiving memorable, and his appearance will be worth your time coming up here on VSiN.